Anime, anime, anime. Man, no matter how much we know about it, we still have no idea the origins of it, or how it all began. It's been a long ride to say the least. If someone told me that anime began 100 years ago, I wouldn't believe it one bit, but apparently it's true. Even if it said it predates that period, but there is a lack of records to prove it, either destroyed or damaged. Anyways, this video is a culmination of the history of the anime we grew to love and count as a part of who we are. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to put a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. And hey, look at the bright side. This video has no spoilers in it. In the beginning, in the year 1907, a video was discovered of a boy in a sailor outfit riding on a board and then tipping his hat over. Fast forward 10 years, the first ever cutout animation was made about a worthless samurai that was so stupid to the point of buying a dull blade. Some of this show was even restored and is on YouTube. More animations took stage and were created. All was well until it wasn't. The disastrous year of 1923 came and brought with it the Kanto earthquake that destroyed half of Tokyo and sent back the animation industry to the Stone Age. 1930, the Japanese industry was trying to recover after the setback they faced, but a certain mouse was causing them a lot of trouble and issues because of its influential popularity with the audiences and producers. 1933, Masaoka and Mitsuyu Seo helped Japan to get back on track with the introduction of cell animation, multi-plane camera and sound technologies into the animation industry. Post-war era, the very first talking anime was ever released by the name of Chikara to Onna no Yo no Naka. And on the next year, the very first fully cell animated anime, The Dance of the Chagamas. In came World War II, and with it, the patriotic spirit of every Japanese man, woman, and child kicked into high gear. With the government also using its influence to decrease the release of entertainment purposes anime and releasing anime related to the war effort to raise the morale of the people and soldiers, one of those films being Momotaru, Umi no Shinpei by Maisuyu Seo. Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs then ended the war, and Japan retreated back to making anime, sticking to what they do best. In the 50s, Hiroshi Takahata bought a studio and named it Toei Doga, which is now Toei Animation, hoping that one day this studio will become the Disney of the East. We're bored of black and white. Let's add some colors, okay? In 1958, Hakujaden, The Tale of the White Serpent. Later released to the US in 1961. With things looking good for Toei and the money flowing in, they started an annual trend of releasing movies. The year 1960 was the year of the anime trademark, the big eyes, heads, and mouths, as well as the release of the first ever TV anime series. Though, albeit it wasn't all animated, but it still counts in my books. It's a plane, it's a bird, it's a frog. Nope, it's none of those. It's Astro Boy in all of his glory. With his human-like looks and robotic powers, he took center stage and dominated the Japanese as well as Western countries' screens, especially in the US. Then followed suit the release of Wolf Boy Ken, the first magical girl ever, Sally the Witch, Kimba the White Lion, as well as the adaptation of the long-running popular manga Cyborg 009, as well as the long-running show since 1969 and scored 6,500 episodes as of 2014, Sensei. Year 1970, Mushi Productions, responsible for Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion, went bankrupt, and the workers in that studio went to create other studios, notably Madhouse. 1970 was the year of boxing with Tomorrow's Joe, as well as the release of the ever-so-popular film Looping 3, with the first series running for 23 episodes only, and getting the boot the second series. However, had great success, waiting for it with 155 episodes airing over 3 years. We all know Astro Boy is a cool robot and fun to watch, but could possibly be better than a cool cyborg robot? Exactly, a building-sized one. Yes, this should do the trick. In came Mazinger Z, one of the most influential, important, and game-changing anime of that time, and even until this day, it's one of the most popular mecha anime, game, video game, action figures. Point is, Mazinger Z is a cult in on its own, and a very large one at that. Also in the same year, some crazy-ass anime writer came up with the idea of a flying spaceship going around the galaxies, and guess what? His idea worked. It wasn't only widely released and acclaimed, it even received a movie later on. However, when it came from Mobile Suit Gundam, the show didn't get that much popular at first, and even ended up being canceled. What really revived the whole Gundam series was the merchandise bursting in popularity. All the sales and popularity gave the genre a second wind and second chance that it didn't blunder with its sequel Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta. Years came by, and it was time for Miyazaki, the founder of Studio Ghibli, to take the Japanese animation industry by surprise in one fell swoop, becoming the most important anime creator and studio. But before founding Ghibli Studio, he blessed the TV channels with Future Boy Conan in 1978 and Lupin III: The Castle of Cagliostro in 1979. However, those 2 years also showed great success for the ladies and young girls, with Candy Candy and Lady Oscar being released. It's the end of the 70s and the start of the anime boom era, the oh-so-gracious 80s with all its glory and magnificence. Studio Ghibli started to make a name for itself in the 80s with its unique art style and stories, with one movie success after the other. Even Disney took notice and started to take some of those movies and release them in the US. If that wasn't enough, the 80s also marked the birth of the otaku term and its subculture, especially when it came to Spaceship Yamato and Gundam. Year 1984, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind was released, opening doors for many other experimental and ambitious projects to be funded after its release. 1986 was the break Miyazaki and his longtime colleague Isao Takahata needed to create their own studio, known to this day as the one and only Studio Ghibli that every child around the world watched and loved even until this day. The Ghibli creations still make one of the most important staples of anime. With all that said and done, the 80s were only starting to reveal all they had in store, with the year 1986 being the year of martial arts, to be exact, the year of Dragon Ball, a standing title and ongoing in all its glory till this very day. And with the rising popularity of the subgenre of martial arts opening a wide path littered with rose petals for many other anime series to come, some finished and done, and some still are running to this very day, like Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, or in other words, the Big Three. Also worthy of note is that Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon were expected to burn and down and fail. They even gave Sailor Moon a limit of 6 months, but the popularity of the show defied all odds and kept running for 5 years straight. The 80s was also the year of the OVAs released to the Western public, as well as the release of the very first ever hentai OVA. Marking the beginning of degenerate fetishes and weird kinks, they just couldn't keep it in their pants and had to ruin the wholesome creation that is anime. But well, as a degenerate myself, I don't mind that one bit. But I have a small question. Who on God's beautiful earth allowed the creation of Boku no Pico? What the hell was he thinking? Anyway, back to the matter at hand. The 80s sure had a lot to offer, but it's still nothing compared to what the 90s had in store for the era. And it's one title that changed the face of anime forever. One so controversial, people either loved it and became diehard fans, or hated it and just wanted to erase it from their minds. Whatever your standing was, this series changed everything and truly marked the beginning of a new era of anime genres never seen before or experimented with, although it received lots of censorships due to the excessive violence and sexual scenes. Another censored and then canceled show was Cowboy Bebop. Funny enough, the ever so popular and cult classic failed in Japan after the censorships it suffered and the inevitable cancellation. What made the show popular, though, was its release on Western screens, bestowing upon it the popularity and respect it truly deserved. Wait, I'm receiving a call. Let's see, so what I understood is that they want a hot chick that is a robot cyborg-ish with existential crisis and later on will be one of the most important influences for the Matrix movies. Seems simple enough, don't you think? Well, it wasn't that simple, but it paid off. Eventually, with the Ghost in the Shell series being a major hit, opening the path for more series like it to be created and adapted. As if all those names weren't enough, in 1998 the Japanese industry bombarded the world with the release of Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, One Piece, Pokemon, and Digimon. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know what, scratch that. Unless you've been living in another dimension, you must have at least heard of one of them. With all those games, movies, action figures, even to this day, Digimon and Pokemon are still trending and taking over the industry, with the Pokemon series still ongoing, and with the reboot of Digimon, as well as games on mostly all platforms. With the integration of internet into the world, everything became easier to access and pirate if you want to. The 2000s also allowed for a lot of old anime series to be revived in new projects, fixing their animation and enhancing it, like Dragon Ball Kai for example. And a lot of series got adapted into anime series that were such a hit, they became iconic to any anime fan out there. And with their fame reaching technically everywhere, each series brought with it a special feeling of uniqueness and individuality. However, with every anime came its own share of memes, as well as Naruto's most iconic meme, was his ability to use the most broken skill in ninja, the Talk no Jutsu, and just like that, he turns any enemy into a friend. I swear this ability is bonkers broken and needs an immediate nerf. And of course, we shouldn't forget the Hinata memes. A lot has changed over the years, from one animated movie annually to countless releases monthly. Anime is no longer simple-minded either. These days, the plots are thick, no pun intended, diverse, and complicated. The characters have dimensions now, moral reasons, and some not so much. Looking back, anime's gone through some really arduous and hard times, and some good times as well. The lesson we can learn here from anime, and the lesson portrayed in a plethora of those series, is that a person can't give up easily. Fight for what you believe in, and for what you stand for. This is the essence of anime, and this is what helped it survive all those years and thrive till this very day. Through blood, sweat, and tears, the anime industry is what it is now, with countless anime series released annually for the entertainment of the masses. Some are fucked up, and some are morally ambiguous even. But what matters is that the anime industry is strong and kicking and won't go down anytime soon. With all this said, I want to know which fact about the turbulent history of anime was the most surprising to you. For example, my surprising fact was how actually old Astro Boy was and how revolutionary it was, and its impact in changing the anime industry the way it did. I know this isn't the usual lighthearted video you guys are used to, but this video is a must. This history is just as important as the history of wars and liberation, and you guys need to know about it. As always, I want you to press that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.